Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Everybody, listen.
Hey there. Welcome to the Yoga Club. My name is Chintamani Cloud, and in today's practice, I'm going to be inviting us to strengthen our core deep from within. We're going to have a new awareness of how to be inside of our body from this practice, and the awesome byproduct of that, or the awesome side effect of that, is that we're going to be healing ourselves through pain in the lower back, hips, and shoulders as well. We're also going to be standing up taller and feeling a lot stronger. So I hope you're going to find what you need today. Stay tuned for modifications, and we'll get started. All right, so let's make our way down towards the floor. We're gonna focus on engaging the core as we roll down. I'm gonna keep the knees bent. I'm gonna bring my hands forward. And if you need an assist, you can always drop your elbows down, or we'll just draw the chin in and slowly unfurl down towards the floor. You see I've kept my knees bent. I'm actually gonna walk my feet in about hips distance apart. And then we're gonna try to turn the palms to face up, and we're really gonna focus on letting the shoulders come towards the floor, okay? And then from here, we're gonna just take a few moments to gather ourselves, maybe closing the eyes or keeping them open, but firmly fixing the gaze somewhere on the ceiling. And we're gonna come into some deep breathing. We'll check in with the nasal passageway to see if it's clear today. And if it is, we'll invite the breath in and out of the body through the nose. In today's practice, we're going to be engaging the core, and we're going to also be redefining what our core is. So we might be finding a different alignment than we're used to, and that process is really going to be strengthening us from the inside out. Beginning to awaken the core now. I'm going to invite us to open the eyes slowly if you haven't already. And we're going to inhale and draw the arms into an extended T position. So we're really going to see if the shoulders and wrists can come into alignment here as we extend the arms away from us. And now we're going to try to become conscious of drawing our lower back into the floor. And that's already going to create a tucking of the tailbone under, or a pelvic tilt. So throughout the practice today, when we're not on the floor, I'll be inviting us to tuck the tailbone under, and it's essentially the same gesture. We're pushing our lower back into the floor, and it's slightly lifting our glutes off of the ground. And what we're going to start to feel is it's also going to start to engage us through the hamstrings and the glutes, and we want that. So see if you can find more of an engagement through those glutes, and now see if we can start to push the middle of the back in towards the floor. So visualize your spine actually pushing down in towards the ground. And this is going to engage our core, not just from the surface muscles of the abdominals, and not just the muscles right around our belly buttons, but it's engaging the muscles that comprise and form our torso. And we're going to keep this engagement growing and lengthening as now we start to push the shoulders down into the floor, and we push the upper spine in towards the floor as well. So in this shape here, we should be feeling full abdominal engagement and full core engagement. And we want to see if we can breathe slowly and rhythmically in and out through the nose as we engage these muscles. Good. And then for a couple of breaths, we're going to bend at the elbows and see if our wrists can still stay on the ground when we do so. If they start to come up, take some deep breaths and see if they'll lengthen down. And if not, just hold for one more breath, and we're all going to extend back to our T shape. Then we'll take an inhale here, and we're going to draw our arms back alongside the body. And we're going to get ready to turn the palms to face down. And what we're going to see is, can we keep the shoulders in place as we turn the arms to get the palms to face the floor. So that's what we're going to try to do on both left and right side of the body. I'm still engaging the core. I'm still pushing my entire spine into the floor, squeezing through the glutes. Now let's see if we can lift the hips up into bridge pose. Now be aware of the chin. We don't want it drawing in towards the chest. We want it lifting up away from the chest. So I'm going to cue pushing the back of your head into the floor. And I'm also going to cue pushing the back of your neck into the floor. We're pushing into our hands if we need a little assist. We're pushing through the feet as we need a little assist. And we're drawing the glutes in as well as the belly button in for one more breath. And then we're going to slowly lower down with control, and we're going to roll the spine down onto the floor so we can reconnect this idea, this alignment of pushing the spine in towards the floor. So my tailbone is still tucked under and my lower glutes are actually lifting off the floor. Then we're gonna lift the feet off the floor, pushing lower back into the floor. We're gonna draw the knees into the chest any amount. Some of us may get here and we're gonna immediately wanna start to widen the knees apart. I'm gonna invite all of us to keep the knees together and come in as much as you can. See if you can even still crunch the core as you draw your knees into your chest. Let's be here for one more breath. And then we're gonna bring the feet back to the ground. We're gonna spread the feet hip distance apart, push the shoulders back, the head and neck too, palms down, tailbone tucks under, core engages, glutes lift us up back into bridge pose. 3 deep breaths here. Keep the core engaged, squeeze through the glutes, one more breath, and exhale to release. We continue to push the lower back into the floor. Exhaling, let's lift the knees off the ground and try to lift the feet up towards the ceiling. Pushing your lower back, middle back, and upper back into the floor. We're gonna flex the feet and then point them, continuing to engage this part of the body, flexing and pointing. And maybe we'll do some ankle rolls. Deepen sound breathing. We're continuously pushing this part of the body in towards the floor. We're going to continue to engage the core the entire practice. I'm going to be cueing this reminder. And this is what's going to strengthen us, learning how to engage the core in various shapes that we're making with the body. All right, coming back to stillness now, we're gonna do some leg raises. So we're gonna have both feet up towards the ceiling. We're gonna take an inhale breath here, and we're gonna bend at the right knee, bring the right foot down. Then we'll take another breath, inhaling and exhaling, we can straighten out the leg. Take another inhale breath here, exhale, bend at the left knee. Take another breath here, inhaling, exhaling, straighten out the leg. So we're gonna see if we can do this with bent knees or straight legs. Depending on where you're at in your core, you'll need one alignment or the other. What is gonna be our canary in the coal mine is, does the spine start to arch? Do we start to lose core engagements essentially? And if we do, then we're gonna need to modify and go back a step and make it a little bit easier so that we can continue to keep the core engaged. So let's get ready to do our leg lifts. Now we're gonna bend both the knees, inhaling, exhaling, right foot lifts. Take an inhale breath here, exhale, maybe right leg extends, core engages, lower back pushes into the floor. Inhaling, we rebend the knee, exhaling, left foot lifts. Take an inhale breath here. Exhale, left leg lowers. Core engages, glutes engage. Inhale, bend the left knee. Bring the left foot to the floor. Exhaling, right foot lifts. Inhaling here. Exhaling, right leg lowers. Keep the core engaging, pushing into the floor. Inhaling, we rebend. Exhale, left side. Last one. Inhale here. Exhale, left leg lowers. Then we're going to inhale to bend the knee. Exhale, push the lower back into the floor to get both feet up. See if you can grab the knees or shins. Try to pull the knees into the chest. Compress the front side of the body as you expand your backside, pushing your lower back, middle back, and upper back into the floor. Maybe your knees really come in towards your chest, and you can be hugging your knees in, but notice how to get into this position I started to arch. So now I'm gonna pull the knees in as I draw the head, the neck, the shoulders, upper, middle, and lower back in towards the floor. All right, and just for a couple of breaths, if you want to open up into a happy baby, just so that we can make sure we, while we engage the core and do this core therapy, that we're still getting a nice cleanse throughout the rest of the body. We can open our knees out now wide from us. We can grab the back side of the thighs, and we're going to try to imagine we're standing on the ceiling. So we're going to flex the feet back, and they're gonna face the ceiling. If you can grab your ankles or feet and pull into full happy baby, feel welcome to. Keeping our spine awareness, the lengthening of the spine, the alignment of the spine, pushing lower back, middle back, and upper back in towards the floor. The back of the neck and the head too. All right. So that was our little awakening of the core. We're gonna release the feet. We're gonna roll over towards our right side, and we're gonna safely push ourselves up to a tabletop position. And some of us might want to get some protection for the knees. I often like to have a blanket nearby or a towel nearby in my practice so that I can lay that out on the mat and then bring my knees towards it. There we go. Smooth it out. I'm gonna bring my knees onto the towel now, and I'm gonna spread my hands about shoulder width distance apart, and I'm gonna really invite us to widen the knees. It's amazing how conditioned we are to keeping our knees close together in various seated positions, and that in time tightens the hips. So we're gonna invite the knees wide apart, the hands too, and we're gonna redefine our neutrality in our tabletop position. You guessed it, I'm gonna invite us to engage the core. What does a disengaged core look like? Hanging out in the joints, the belly coming towards the floor, the shoulders squeezing up towards the ears. So we're gonna correct all that now by pushing the shoulders away from the spine and drawing the belly up and in, and that naturally tucked my tailbone under. I didn't even invite it to because I just engaged the core. Now imagine if the floor was here, my back would be touching the floor, just like we were practicing, okay? And then from here, we're gonna come into cat-cow tilt, and we're gonna see if even in our back bends, we can keep the core engaged. So on an inhale, we look up, draw the belly in. And now on our exhale, we can really compress the front side of the body to expand the back side. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhale. And as you exhale, draw the chin in, push into your hands and knees to bring the middle of the spine towards the ceiling. Inhaling, draw the belly in. Exhaling, really contract the front, engaging the muscles that live along the spine. Now we'll come back to our neutral position here, and we're gonna get ready to extend one leg back behind us. We can start, I'll mirror for now, so you'll be extending your right leg back. Now the first thing we're gonna pay attention to is, did the right hip lower towards the floor? We wanna lift it up. Or did we smear the left leg out to the side? We're gonna bring both hips in. We're gonna try to square off the hips, engage through the glutes, and draw the core in. We're essentially in a modified plank position. Take another breath here, and let's pay attention to where the head is. Are we looking up? Are we relaxing the head? Let's lift the head up and tuck the chin in for 1 more breath, and then we'll draw that right knee down. And you can shake a tail here. Maybe feel a little stretch in those outer hips that are so often tight. And we're gonna come back to our strong neutral position in tabletop. Head lifting, chin tucking, core engaged. We extend, left leg back now. So now you can see from the other side what I mean about the hips splaying out. This is often what many folks do. We wanna square off the hips, bring everything into center. And we want to pretend we're in our plank position, so we want to engage the full body here, lengthening the spine, finding the core, taking deep breaths. We can strengthen our core here, even in this stillness, if we're just aware of drawing the muscles in towards the spine. 1 more breath. And then we're going to exhale and drop that knee down. We're going to shake a tail, hips go right and left. And maybe you loosen your core for a couple of breaths, that's okay. We're gonna always re-engage now. So for this next position, I'm gonna be inviting us into a modified plank. And I want us to keep the knees down to start. We'll be doing plenty of knees up. So let's crawl the fingers forward, or maybe you'll think of lifting your whole hand about a hand print ahead of you. And now we're gonna engage the core, squeeze the glutes, and start to bring the hips forward. This brought the shoulders over the wrists, okay? Pay attention to the head. We don't wanna be looking up. We don't wanna be relaxing the head. We wanna be lifting it and tucking the chin in. Squeeze through the glutes, draw the core in, deep breathing here. We'll feel strengthening of the upper body as well. The shoulders too, but we're really identifying our core here. And now we can walk our hands back in space, and I'm gonna invite us into a child's pose. In this child's pose, I'm gonna walk my knees off of my knee guard, bring my knees and feet close together, and sit up nice and tall as I come down towards my heels. Let's do some shoulder rolls first. We'll inhale as we draw the shoulders up and back. And exhale as they come down and forward and lifting. Inhale and exhale. Okay, and now we're gonna pause with the shoulders back behind us. We're gonna draw the core in. This is gonna be the anchor that keeps our shoulders in position, and we're gonna see if we can come forward and bring the head towards the floor. For some of us, we might have pain in the knee, and we're gonna wanna be tempted to modify our child's pose in this way. I'm gonna invite us to modify our child's pose by folding up a towel or using a book or a block to place under the forehead instead, and we wanna really keep these hips down towards the heels. And now we're gonna really focus on still engaging the core in our child's pose. So I'm gonna invite you to draw the abdomen in and imagine pushing your spine out away from you as your hips draw down towards your heels. And sometimes even the pushing of the head into the floor can help you find that abdominal engagement. In child's pose, we're trying to stretch out this side of our bodies. We're not trying to just come into a full relaxation in this position. We're actually trying to strengthen and open. The core engages, the psoas are engaging, and we're stretching the back side of the body. For 2 more breaths. Now we'll inhale to lift up. So that's going to definitely be a different kind of child's pose than folks are used to. But it's also going to be much more therapeutic. So I'm going to replace my knee guard back down onto the mat, and I'm going to step back onto it. Tabletop position. Now if you're ready for full plank, so you can choose full plank. You can step right foot back, engage the glutes and core. That should get a lightness of being, get you ready to step your left foot back, okay? And now we're gonna see if we can be in full plank. If we can't be here, we're gonna re-drop the knees and come into our first modification. So here we're gonna try to lift. Pay attention to the head, look up. Did we drop the head? We're gonna lift the head up and tuck the chin in. I'm squeezing through the glutes, drawing in through the core, pushing my hands into the floor to spread my shoulders away from my spine for 1 more breath. And now I'm gonna walk my feet in slightly and lift my hips up and back for downward facing dog. Remember to look back behind you, so we want to release the neck into alignment, that gaze, so that the head can tilt and we can gaze back behind us. I'm also going to invite us to a little bit of a bend into the elbows here, so that we can make our downward facing dog a strength-based posture, and we're not going to hang out in any joints or compromise our alignment or our body in any way. We're going to be engaging safely the muscles of the body so that we can also open them. And we want to draw in through the core here. See if you can play with finding your lower belly, your middle belly, maybe your pecs, as you push down through the big toe knuckles and the heels to open up the backside of your legs. Maybe you'll even feel a stretch right into your glutes, which many folks don't in downward dog. We focus mostly on the calves. 1 more breath here. And then we're gonna exhale, drop down to the knees. From here, we're gonna bring our forearms down towards the floor. This should give our wrists a break. We're gonna pay attention to our head alignment before we even move the legs. So are we looking up at the screen? We might be. We're gonna gaze down towards the floor. The chin is gonna tuck in and the head is gonna lift. Now we're gonna see if we can come into forearm plank position. Extend 1 foot back behind you, maybe starting on right side, then left side. Now squeeze through the glutes, because you'll find that actually you can disengage the glutes and still sort of be in this shape. But what that does is it injures the lower back or creates the potential for injury. So we want to keep the glutes engaging, keep the core engaging, realign and redefine our alignment here for 1 more breath. And then I'm gonna drop the knees down if they're not already. I'm gonna move my knee guard out of the way here. And I'm gonna invite us to bring the hips down and bring the elbows forward. So for this first back bend here, we're gonna try to roll the shoulders back. They're gonna want to come forward. Our goal is gonna roll them back. Now we're gonna push into the pelvic bone and push that into the floor as we squeeze the glutes. We tuck the chin in as we lift the head up and back. Deep breathing in and out through the nose if we can. 1 more breath, and then we're gonna exhale to release. I'm gonna invite us to keep the chin forward on the floor. We're gonna draw the arms back alongside us, and now we're not gonna wanna disengage the whole body here. We're gonna lift the shoulders up and back to start. That's already gonna create our back bend. Then we're gonna extend our legs back so that we can really lengthen them, bring the big toe knuckles to touch, Squeeze through the glutes and notice that the pelvic tilt automatically starts to happen. Your pelvic bone is pushing into the floor. We really need to squeeze the glutes to protect the lower back. Shoulders and chin are already lifting. Now let's see if we can lift hands, feet, knees, and thighs too. Squeeze the glutes. Maybe look up a little higher. Try to lift your belly button off the ground. Feel the engagement of the abdominals lifting for one more breath. And exhale to release. And now I'm gonna bring my elbows out and I'm gonna make a pillow for my third eye. Both hands stacking and taking some deep breaths. And you can let now the legs relax as you come into some deep breaths. Now don't let the breaths come out of control either. In our relaxing state here, we're still gonna draw the breath intentionally in and out of the body. When we do back bends, we often increase our heart rate, especially these ones that are against gravity. So it's going to strengthen us in a different way from the internal organs, from the inside out, to control the breathing, signaling to the body to remain calm as we strengthen here. One more breath here. So I'm going to bring my chin forward. I'm going to bring my arms back behind, palms facing up. Stretch out right and left leg back behind. Engage the legs as we point the toes and bring the big toe knuckles to touch. This should help us find the glutes. If you want to add a shoulder opener, you can try to bend at your elbows and interlock your fingers so that the webbings come together. And then if you're clasping tightly the palms, we're going to open them apart and pull the shoulders back. This is going to engage the triceps, and it's already going to start to lift us off the floor. Now, some of us will keep the hands on the glutes, and I'm going to invite us to lift off as much as you can. And when you're ready, maybe we're going to do a little bit more, lifting legs, knees, thighs, pull the hands back, lift the chest up, squeeze through the glutes, see if you can lift the belly off the ground. Now maybe the belly stays on the ground, but you feel the muscles lifting up with deep within for one more breath, and let's release. Legs down with control, arms come forward, you make a pillow or any resting posture that serves you. Keep breathing. Don't let the breath come in and out of the body out of control. We're going to draw the breath in and out of the body slowly and evenly. And coming into some deep breathing, we really want to control the breath here. And if you need to shake it out a little bit, you can bend at the knees. Let the feet point towards the ceiling and windshield wiper the legs going right and left. This will massage the quadriceps and give us a little release from the pose. Now we're going to extend the feet back towards the floor. I'm going to turn the toes under. And I'm going to bring my hands back underneath my shoulders. Let's put the pelvic bone into the floor. That's going to engage the glutes already. Find your core engagement, and we're going to do a yoga push-up. So let's take an inhale here and keep the knees down. Exhale, try to push up. And see if you can refine your modified plank position. We're going to try for 3 more yoga push-ups from here. So see if you can find your engagement. Hips are coming forward, but not too forward. We're not back bending. We're not tabletopping. We're creating a plank position from the knees to the shoulders, and we want to include the head and neck too. We'll take an inhale breath here. Let's see if we can lower down as we exhale. Shoulders come forward, elbows back. Maybe float up off the floor. Inhale here, exhale, push. Keep the core engaged. We'll do that again. Inhale, exhale, lower down. Keep the core engaged. Keep the spine from arching if you can. Inhale here, exhale, push. One more. We're going to take an inhale breath here. Core and glutes engage. Exhale as we lower down. Inhale here. Exhale. Push up. And let's come into another child's pose. So we're going to remember knees together. If you ever need to, if you're a person with pain in the knees, you can always grab your knee towel, place it here, take another inhale breath, and we'll try to come forward. You can bring your hands underneath your forehead if you need to. Or if you have a yoga block, you can use that too. And we want to feel our head pushing into the block or the floor. Our hips are coming towards the heels. We're almost imagining our spine is coming out of this pose as our core engages us. Deepen sound breathing. And one more breath. Now let's inhale to lift up. We move any tools out of the way if we need to. And we're gonna get ready to transition up to standing from here. So I'm gonna come back to tabletop position for that transition, and this is where we'll meet. So as we get ready to transition up to standing, I'm gonna invite us into a core awareness all the way. If you need to utilize blocks, if you have them, or folded towels, that can help with this transition, and it can also help with fully engaging the core as we create this transition. Another thing that could be helpful too is just by being onto fingertips, but this can also place a lot of weight on the joints of the fingers too. So we want to make sure that we're actually engaging the hands as we use the fingers. So let's do a little practice here where we're going to get ready to transition up to standing in a way that's going to engage our core and strengthen our psoas, which is the muscle in the front of the hips, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna try on right side. We're gonna see if we can engage the core and see if you can slide your right foot forward to come up in between your hands. And we're gonna do that again. We're gonna engage through the core, see if we can slide the foot straight back and drop the knee down. Some of us, as we're developing this core strength, are gonna be doing this, pulling the foot out to the side. So I'm gonna be inviting us to lift onto fingertips, to fold a towel under right and left hand if you need to for some lift through those hands, or especially if you have blocks, this can be a really great exercise. We're gonna do left side now if you haven't already. Step left foot forward up in between the hands. And we're gonna do that again. Pull the left foot back, draw the knee down towards the floor. Right side, right knee lifts in. We crunch the front side of the body to float that foot forward up in between the hands. And we do it again. Crunch the knee up into your chest to help float the foot back to the floor. And last one, crunch the knee up, pull the thigh, pull the knee up, up, up to get the foot up. And we do that again. Pull the thigh into the chest, lift the knee up, and that's the last one. We can shake it out, and we're gonna get ready to come into a standing forward fold. So we're gonna do that one more time. Core is gonna engage. We're gonna lift this thigh up, pull the knee up, up to get the foot forward. And now it'll be a little easier. We're gonna push into right foot, and we're gonna get left foot to come up to standing. Maybe your hands are on blocks. Maybe you've been using fingertips on the floor. And we're coming up to standing. Maybe your hands will be at your shins. Take another inhale breath here. And maybe you can start to reach towards the floor as you exhale, releasing the neck and head. Now see if you can draw your belly in on your inhales and your exhales here. We're stretching not just the tight back side of the legs, but the glutes and the back of the torso as well in this pose. So it's a deep stretch, but we're strengthening the front side of the body. So see if you can engage your quadriceps as you push down into the big toe knuckles of your feet. For one more breath. Now bend in the knees if you haven't already and you need to, and we're gonna come up to standing. Unfurling slowly, I'm gonna draw the shoulders up towards the ears and roll them down the back. And let's do that 2 more times. Inhaling and exhaling and exhaling. Now we're gonna come into our mountain pose. So we're gonna be grounding down through left and right foot. We're gonna be engaging through the core in our standing position, and we're gonna see if we can visualize this alignment we've been talking about all practice. We're tucking the tailbone under. We're lengthening the spine as if we're pushing our whole body into the wall behind us or imagining the floor. The shoulders are rolling back, and if you need to, you can turn your palms to face out and have your thumbs point back behind you. And we want the core engaging here to lock it in. And I'm gonna turn and demo from the side for a couple more breaths. We wanna squeeze the glutes, the hips come forward. We don't wanna arch here, bending into the knees. We wanna stand up nice and tall through the legs, through the glutes, the quadriceps, the glutes, the front side of the body as we draw the shoulders back. We lift up to the back of the neck and head, and we deep breathe here in our mountain pose. Okay. Now we're gonna try a standing balancing posture. So I'm gonna invite us to bring our hands towards our hips. We're gonna shift our weight into our right foot, and we're gonna lift our left heel off the ground. Some of us might have noticed that tendency for one of the hips to knock out. Let's bring that right hip back to center, draw through the glutes and the core. We're gonna see if we can point the left toes and maybe pull the left foot off of the ground. Now, if it's okay if you're still floating here, we're beginning the process of strengthening the core, realigning the spine, and also finding our psoas awareness. If you can lift the foot off the ground, we're still in the process of strengthening. Lengthen that standing balancing leg. Maybe lift the knee in line with the hip, and we're gonna try to hold for 2 more breaths. And 1 more. And we're gonna release. And we're gonna do that on second side. We're gonna push down through this left foot. We're gonna lift in through the left hip. We're not gonna lean out too far. And we're gonna take right heel off the ground. Now I gotta remember to bring the glutes forward, engage them as we draw the belly up and in. Shoulders are pulling back. Maybe we point the toes. Maybe we take the foot off the ground. If you're working on your balance, that's okay. Keep working on it. If you've got your balance, we start to strengthen as we pull the knee up in line with the hip. Belly still draws in, glutes are still engaging. We find our balance. We want to breathe here, and let's release. Good. And if you need to step that out for a little bit, get ready for our next practice. We're going to keep the feet about hip distance apart, roll the shoulders up and back, coming into our mountain pose. We find our engaged abdominals, we tuck the tailbone under, we engage the glutes. Now I'm gonna invite us to inhale our arms into a T shape and exhale as we bend into the knees. Bend into the elbows. Now if that's too much on the shoulders, you can create a V, a really wide V shape. So either here or here. Let's take an inhale breath, and I'm gonna turn and demo this from the side. We're gonna bend into the knees, and we're gonna bring the knees forward. As we continue to engage the core, keeping the tailbone tucked under, you're gonna sit as deep as you can. You're gonna feel this dramatically in the shins, the calves, the ankles, maybe the feet. Stand up nice and tall. We don't wanna start to arch the glutes back and roll the shoulders back. We need to unarch that spine, lengthen the spine, grow up tall for 1 more breath. Let's inhale, straighten the arms, and exhale to release. Good. Let's inhale the arms up, maybe look up. And exhale as we draw the arms down. And let's find that core engagement now. Reset the shoulders, draw the belly in, inhale, lift. And exhale, release. And last one, we're gonna inhale, lift. We're gonna draw the belly in, and we're gonna exhale and drop the right hand down. Take an inhale here, lock the left shoulder in the girdle, keep the core and glutes engaged, and exhale over towards the right. Try to keep the hips center. Try to think about folding in the torso, not pushing the hips out unevenly. Keep the hips nice and square, squeeze the glutes, draw the core in for 1 more breath. And then let's inhale to lift both arms up and exhale second side. Left arm will lift, we'll lengthen the spine, draw the shoulder into the girdle, take an inhale here, lock in through the anchors and exhale second side. Really feel the core staying engaged. We want to make sure the stretch is happening right down into the hip here. And we want to protect the lower back and the sacrum as we do this by engaging the glutes, tucking the tailbone under, and drawing the core in. Let's inhale both arms up and exhale hands down to our side, standing up nice and tall. These are our anchors here. When we learn to engage the core and the glutes, and subtly engage all the muscles in our yoga practice, we find its true meaning, which is a strength-based practice as well as a supple practice where we increase the flexibility in the body. So from our mountain pose now, I'm gonna invite us into a sun salutation, and we're gonna see if we can realign our sun salutation using this new alignment we've been practicing. So come towards the front edge of your mat. Roll the shoulders up and back, turn your palms to face out. We straighten out the legs as we engage the quads. We engage the glutes that tuck the tailbone under, and we lock it all in by drawing the belly in from the lower belly, the middle belly, the upper belly, and maybe you'll start to feel your pecs engaging too. We're gonna inhale our arms up, draw in through those anchors. Exhale, keep drawing in through those anchors. You see my core flattening? And now if one day when we really can open the body, we're gonna be able to engage the core fully, even in our forward fold, but maybe not today. Let's inhale back up to our half fold. Pull the shoulders back, draw the belly in. Exhale, see if you can place your fingertips or palms down onto the floor. So bend your knees if you need to. Step your right foot back. Get ready, engage the core. Or if you need to modify your plank, you can step your right knee back, then step your left foot back, and we'll meet here in plank. And remember, we could be doing this with the knees down too, or a full plank position. Remembering the neck and head. Drawing the glutes and core in. One more breath. And now we're going to lower down towards the floor. So if you need the knees, drop them down now. Refind your alignment. Exhale, lower down. This is our yoga push-up. We're going to come into our back bend. We're going to roll the shoulders back. Lift up. Push down to the pubic bone. Squeeze the glutes. Straighten the arms any amount. Exhale, lower down. Pushing back up through our modified push-up. And exhaling. Did you see we passed through plank as we lifted up and back into downward dog? We want to look back behind us and come into some deep breaths. And then we're going to come back towards the front edge of the mat. So we can do that in two ways. We can inhale onto the balls of the feet and start to walk the feet forward. If you need to use the knees, you can drop down to the knees and practice that core psoas engagement. Draw the knee up into the chest. Second foot lifts as we push down through the first foot. Inhale to your half lift. Exhale to your full fold. And now we're going to come up to standing. Engage through the anchors. Inhale to lift. And exhale to lower down. Really nice. So that was our sun salutation, and where we tried to keep this new alignment in place as we found sun salutation A. Now we're going to practice coming into warrior one in a different kind of way as well. We're going to incorporate that into our sun salutation. So I was just trying to step away a little bit from those instruments. We're going to come up to standing nice and tall. We can have the feet close together or wide apart. We're going to roll the shoulders back, turn the palms to face up, and we're going to bend into the knees and inhale our arms into our chair pose position. Maybe some of us are able to bring the arms straight up or into a wide V. Take an inhale here. Exhale, we dive forward. We try to straighten out the legs and draw the chest towards them. Then we inhale to our core engagement of the half fold. As we exhale, we plant down, and we're going to step the feet back to plank. Knees on the ground or knees lifted. Head lifted, chin lifted, core engaged, glutes engaged. Now, if you need to drop to the knees for your yoga push-up, this way we can stay intact during our yoga push-up without losing our core. Exhale, lower down. If you're ready for upward facing dog, feel free to incorporate that. I'm going to stick with cobra. Exhale, lower down. And we're going to push back up into our modified plank. Curl the toes under. Feel yourself pass through full plank as we lift up and back into downward facing dog. And now we're going to stay here just for a breath, realigning the spine, calming the mind, and coming back to a deep breath. And now we're going to exhale, knees down towards the floor. Get ready. We're going to lift onto our fingertips. We're going to come into warrior one from here, practicing that same core awareness, chin, thigh and knee lifting up as we pull the foot forward on the right foot. Now, my left foot's going to help me come up to standing, and so is my right foot. We're going to push forward into right foot to lift left foot into warrior one position back behind us. Drawing in through the core now, I'm going to lift my hands up and inhale into Virabhadrasana A on right side. So what we want to do is pay attention to, are we lifting the chin up? Is the head knocking forward? We're going to pull the head back and draw the chin in. Maybe our arms need to widen apart to modify and help those shoulders open and strengthen. Or maybe we're able to open them, so we're going to just be working on strengthening them as we lift the hands up and draw the shoulders down the back. Simultaneous gesture. The hands are lifting as the shoulders are depressing. We want to draw the belly in, squeeze through those glutes, pull the right hip back and draw the left hip forward. We should be getting a deep stretch in the front side of the left hip. One more breath here. Take an inhale. And now we're going to see about exhaling, hands down towards the floor. You might be able to push palms down. Otherwise, stay on your fingertips. I'm going to lift off of my left heel, coming and balancing on the big toe knuckle. And I'm going to push down my left knee. And now I'm going to get ready to engage here. Knee lifting as I draw foot back. We're going to get ready for side two here. So I'm staying on fingertips. Some of us might have palms down, or some of us might be on blocks. Core engages. We find the psoas as we lift the thigh up, knee up, and place the foot forward. Now I'm going to be using the big toe knuckle. I'm going to push down through my left foot, curl my right toes under and bring my toes on a slight diagonal. They're mostly facing forward on that back leg. See here if you can already pull your left hip into center. Pull it back and draw your right hip forward. Squeeze through the glutes, push down through the feet, lengthen the spine as you inhale into your Virabhadrasana A on your second side. Many folks want to stretch into back bend, so we start to create this shape in our Warrior One, and we really need to realign here. We're looking for a deep stretch in the front side of the right hip and a strengthening in the front side of the left hip. We square the hips off, we tuck the tailbone under, we draw the belly in, we squeeze the glutes, and that helps keep our shoulders from crouching forward. And we're gonna take some more deep breaths here. One more. And then we're gonna exhale to release. We're gonna bring our hands down towards the floor. I'm gonna lift off of the right heel, drop right knee down, get ready to tuck this knee in as I pull the foot back. And now we're gonna try for a yoga push-up. We're gonna bring the hips forward, squeeze through the glutes, take an inhale breath here, exhale Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale into a back bend, squeezing glutes. Exhale, lift up into plank, and then downward facing dog. And I'm gonna step my feet in, I'm keeping feet wide apart. So we don't wanna be too in to get the heels down, because we wanna create a triangular position, kind of like a rooftop position. We want the shoulders to be away from the ears. There's a lot of space between the shoulders and the ears. And we wanna draw in through the spine to stack vertebrae on top of vertebrae for one more breath. Now let's see if we can inhale onto the balls of the feet, and you can either use the knees or I'll demo walking the feet forward up in between the hands. Some of us will be lifting off of fingertips if we need more room. Take an inhale to your half lift. Exhale to your full fold. Try to squeeze the chest to the legs. Now bend into your knees. Try to really bend deeply. We're gonna tuck the tailbone under and draw in through the core as we come up to standing into chair pose. One more breath here. Now let's inhale mountain pose with arms lifted and exhale Samastitihi. All right. Shoulder rolls if you need to shake that out a little bit. So we tried to practice our sun salutation A and B with the new alignment and the awareness of our anchors and our core. And we're gonna make our way back down towards the floor now. So I'm gonna turn towards the front edge of my mat and come forward, and we're gonna use that same sun salutation to come down towards the floor. So shoulders are lifting up and back. We find our anchors. I'm going to even turn my palms to face out. Inhale the arms up, draw the core in. Exhale, dive forward. And then we're gonna take an inhale here. And now as we exhale, I'm gonna bend into my knees. I'm gonna step my feet wide apart. And I'm gonna try to bend into a squatting position. And some of us are gonna be challenged by this. If you need help, turn your toes to face out. If you're able to come down with the toes facing in, we're gonna actually keep them that way. So just modify this if you need to. We're gonna try to keep the hips down. Hey, Kansas. Are you working on your core with us today, Girl Dog? We're gonna try to keep the hips grounded, opening up the hips and lengthening the spine. And now we're gonna try to transition into boat pose. So that's gonna be a little bit hard, but as we continue to practice, we're gonna develop the core strength and the awareness on how to do this safely. But I'm gonna modify it. So we're gonna bring our hands way back behind us. Maybe if you can keep your core engaged as you make this transition, we're gonna bring the glutes down and we're gonna step the feet forward. I want to stay close to the front edge of the mat here. And now we're going to place our palms down and we're going to try to have our fingers facing forward. Roll your shoulders back. You might puff your chest out a bit, but we're going to draw the muscles in. So it's going to make a new sensation through your shoulders and your arms. We're going to lift the head up, but tuck the chin in. Engage through the glutes, engage through the belly, lift the feet off of the floor into our first modified boat position. If you want to try to lift the feet up any amount higher and higher and higher, draw the belly in as you do so. And then we're going to bend at the knees, place the feet back onto the floor, push into your hands. Help draw your chest towards your thighs and maybe bring your hands to your feet. Tuck the chin in, round the spine. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. And we'll do one more set. This time we're gonna use it to come towards the floor. So you can keep your hands on the floor back behind you. Otherwise, we're also gonna try a new modification where we hold the thighs. So I'm gonna step my feet in, come onto my tippy toes, find my belly so it's not happening out of my lower back. Lift the feet off the floor, maybe one at a time if you can. And maybe you can let go of your legs and see if you can use the belly. Draw the belly in. Now straighten out the legs. Let your hands stay forward. Straighten out the legs. Squeeze the glutes. Draw the belly in. And we're going to tuck the chin in. And we're going to lower all the way down towards the floor. Bending at the knees if you need to make sure that we don't stress out the lower back. We're going to push the lower back into the floor. Turn our palms to face up and meet here. All right, so coming into that awareness that we practiced at the start of our class, where the spine is realigning, and in that process, as we push the spine into the floor, it engages the full abdominals, and it even starts to engage our glutes and tucks our tailbone under. And then from here, for this next stretch, I'm going to be balancing through my left foot. Exhale, I'm going to try to lift my right foot up towards the ceiling. Then as we take an inhale breath here, I'm going to exhale and see if I can place my hands on my right leg. If you're still here, that's okay. In time, you'll crawl your hands up the leg and see if you can find the ankle, the sides of the feet, or maybe place your peace fingers around your big toe. So wherever you're at, if both hands are on your leg, that's okay. If you have your peace fingers on your big toe, you can actually release your left hand to the floor. So see where you're at. We're already should be getting a deep stretch here with core engagement. So we're still stretching out the body with core awareness. Now, if you'd like to, as you pulling the foot in on your exhales, you can explore straightening out the left leg, maybe even pointing those left toes. You're going to try to push this left hip down. If that's too much, we'll come back to this position, okay? One more breath here. And now we're going to try to open this foot out to the side. Now, some of us will be able to hold the foot, but some of us are going to be here and holding the thigh or the back of the knee. See if you can open your foot out to the side any amount. We don't want to open this left knee out. We want it to stay straight, and that's what's going to keep our core engaged for this exercise. So for this pose, we're pushing the lower back into the floor. We're keeping the core engagement, the glutes too, and we're holding left knee up as we open right foot out to the side. Now we're going to inhale back up to center, and now we're going to even go a little deeper with the core engagement. We're pushing the back into the floor, and as I push my lower back into the floor, I'm going to try to lift my head up to my knee. Push the lower back into the floor, engage the belly for one more breath. Inhaling and exhaling. I let go of the foot, take another inhale here, and then we can exhale, lower out that right leg. Inhale to rebend the knee. Exhale, I'm going to lift left foot up, pushing lower back into the floor. As I start to inhale, I see if my hands could come to my thigh or lift up any amount. See where you're at. We want to make sure right knee's pointing up to the ceiling. I'm pushing lower back, middle back, upper back, shoulders into the floor. Stretching out the back side of the leg. If you want to explore extending right leg. If it's not comfortable, we can rebend the knee. Now, as we transition to the side, maybe your hand is here. Try to see if you can hold the back of the knee and open your foot any amount. Maybe you're here. It's core engagement. Still holding it in will anchor you in your exploration of your flexibility. Some of us will be more open. Maybe we're holding the foot even. But either way, we're keeping the core engaged, pushing the spine into the floor. Find your glutes for one more breath. And then we're going to lift back up. Now we're really going to push the lower back into the floor, engage through the core, and exhale. Try to lift and bring the head to the knee. Still breathing as we engage the core, drawing the head to knee for one more breath. And then exhaling to release. Take a nice inhale here as your hands come to your sides. Exhale to lower down the leg. Inhale, we're going to rebend the knee. Exhale, push lower back into the floor, draw the knees in. Maybe give yourself a hug if you can reach your arms around, but coming back to a position of pushing neck and head and shoulders into the floor. Upper back, middle back, lower back too. And if you want to get a little bit more gentler, getting ready now for the end of our practice, I'm going to release that big hold, that big compression, and just roll from side to side. massaging the lower back. And then we're gonna just get ready to end in a twist. So I'm gonna invite us to extend our arms into a T with palms facing up. Take an inhale here, and I'm gonna drop my knees over towards the right. And as I do so, left shoulder can lift. Now I'm gonna place my right hand on my left knee. Take an inhale breath here. Now I'm gonna try to push my shoulder and my whole back into the floor while I hold on to left knee. And that's what's going to create that big twist. It's also going to be inviting us to pay attention to the core muscles in this stretch. We're pushing our back into the floor. That's drawing my belly in. And you can try to turn the chin towards that left shoulder and maybe gaze. Maybe you're gazing at the screen, or maybe you'll close the eyes. And then we're going to let go of that left hand. We're going to use core awareness to lift the knees up and lift the feet off of the floor, pushing lower back into the floor the whole time. Take another inhale. We're going to exhale for second set. So knees are going to my left. My right shoulder totally lifts. I'm bringing my left hand to my right knee. And now I'm drawing, the twist is happening from the torso here. I'm actually trying to bring my upper back onto the floor, not just the shoulder. And then the knee started to lift back up, but my left hand is holding it there, and I'm feeling now the deep stretch here. Not just here, but even into the torso. The core is engaging, and you can also place a blanket under the lifted arm if you're struggling with getting your shoulder back towards the floor. And then maybe you'll take your gaze, and that should also help bringing the shoulder back towards the floor. And if you'd like to close the eyes to take the gaze within for 3 more breaths, remembering to relax the muscles around the face, the lips, and the jaw. Okay, we're gonna let go of that we're gonna let go of the right knee with the left hand. And if you need to, you can walk the feet back in, or you can do core awareness, pushing lower back into the floor as the feet and knees lift to center. If you want to draw them in for 1 more breath and roll a little bit and side to side. We're gonna close our practice now with a resting posture, any resting posture that you'd like. So if you want to come into a traditional Shavasana, feel welcome to. If you'd like to do something for a little bit more hip opening, remember, we're going to keep the lower back pushing into the floor as we open the knees out. You can also place blocks or blankets or towels under the knees. And I'm going to invite us to extend the arms and maybe even make cactus arms as you close the eyes and take the gaze within. And if you want to transition to a more relaxing position, you can draw the knees back up to center and maybe extend the legs out, or keep the knees bent if you have any sensitivity in the lower back. I'm going to invite us to reintroduce movement back into the body now. Maybe wiggling through the fingers and the toes. If you'd like to gently tilt the head from side to side, take whatever movements come naturally to you now. And if you want to stretch and yawn as you come back into your shape, that's okay too. If you want to compress, feel welcome to. And then I'm going to roll over and get ready to push myself back up to seated position if you'd like to join me. Pushing into the hands. We lift slowly back up to center so that we can adjust to bringing the head back above the heart. And we haven't done a seated cross-legged position yet, so I'm going to invite you to find that now. And if that's not comfortable for you, you can modify as you need to. But what we're really going to focus on is coming into that alignment we've been practicing all class. So if it takes some shoulder rolls to help get you there, we're going to lift the shoulders up and draw them down the back, We're also going to pull the torso back in space so that the shoulders are directly over the hips. We're going to engage the belly here, and we're going to sit up nice and tall in our seated position. If you'd like to extend your arms over your legs, you can even place a mudra into your fingers, bringing index and thumb together as we straighten out all the fingers. And the head is lifting as the chin is tucking. We come back into our deep and sound breathing. Thank you all for making it to your mat today. I hope you'll go on to have a beautiful rest of your day. Namaste. Salute.
What is that?
It's a juice.
What kind?
I don't remember the name. Fresh juice. Sweet greens, apple, cucumber, celery, lime, mint, kale, and parsley. Sweet greens.